Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for real this time. This is Fahad Farouk on behalf of Fizki, and we're just getting ready for our first episode of The Mind Game with none other than the amazing Mr. Fazil Marija. So we're going to wait a couple of minutes until he comes up online, and then we will begin with our session. If you have anybody else you know who'd benefit from this session where we talk about the mind game, for sure send them the link, tell them to join in. We're going to be starting in just a few minutes, waiting until Fazil joins us on the IG Live. Waiting for a couple of minutes until Fazil joins us, and then we'll be able to get started with our session talking about the mind game and coping with all of these things that we're supposed to cope with these days. To everyone joining us, thank you very much. Amazing indeed. A few more minutes until Fazil gets here. All right, he's here, sending us a link.
Hello.
Hey Fazil, see you, but I can't see you.
Oh, can I hold on?
If you just press your home button and then enter the app again, it should work.
Yeah, okay. I'll just
All right, so we have some connection issues. We'll just wait a couple of minutes until Fazil rejoins IG Live. All right. There he is. Hey.
hi, man.
Thank you so much for joining us. Lovely seeing you. You look super relaxed.
Can you see me? Or I can't see.
Yes, of course, I can see you. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So Fazil, thank you so very much for joining us. Before we begin, of course, Fizki and Marmite have collaborated to have this amazing thing. A couple of things that I need to tell you guys, everybody who's joined in with us, that Marmite is, of course, enriched with vitamin B, and that plays a vital role in maintaining a good health and well-being. Of course, if you're in the fitness space, then you know that B vitamins have a direct impact on your energy levels, your brain function, and your cell metabolism, right? So a whole bunch of benefits. So it helps you in yielding your energy to help with your entire workouts. We'll talk a little bit more about Marmite later, but right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the person who's probably Sri Lanka's most accomplished rugby player, most recognizable, and no doubt someone who's made an impact in this entire rugby scene. So we're super happy that you're joining us here on this session. First question that I have to ask you, how are you coping with all of this curfew and lockdown and being stuck indoors? As a person who's used to running around and playing and stuff, how are you coping?
I think I used to very do active lifestyle, and I go from start 6 in the morning to 8 in the night. So it was a little bit hard. Then after I got used to it, so I was starting like doing home workouts with my brother, then home stuff, then gardening stuff. So I keep myself occupied. So that's how I cope up with those.
So a small side note on that aspect, that, you said you're doing the home workouts and the gardening and stuff. This helps with giving like a mental release, right?
Yeah, that's right. So you're occupied every time. So I have my brother and my kids. I have 2 kids, so they want to play every time. So I'm fully occupied with that. So I'm really happy that like I had a like month and a half with the kids, and
Right. So a small thing. So this session is called the mind game, right? And I want to know, like, what are the specific thinking patterns or things that you do day to day in order to keep your sanity? What are the
Yeah.
type of things that you make sure you're mentally doing to stay in line?
පිස්සු වැටෙන්න like at home.
Yeah, these days.
Uh, these days, I normally do is like early morning. I do a workout with my brother
Okay.
around 9, 10. So I do workout. Then I go for a run, maybe around 11.
Hmm.
So then my kids, then do some gardening stuff I have never done.
So that's
So
new.
yeah, that's really new. So this is the first time I'm doing it. So I'm doing it every day. I loved it. So I'm loving it. So and evening just chill with my family.
Okay. So, what I want to ask you is now, rugby is obviously a very physical sport. But the mental game, the mind game, when you're a top level rugby, right, also has to be at the next level, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the amount of mental strength you need to have as a top level performer?
I think top level performance as of I played fly half. That's the really critical position. So you need to be in the top of your game. If you so I can lose a game or I can break or make a game. So for me, mental thing is like I have been prepared from early week like from matches on Sunday. I prepared on Monday. So from Monday to Sunday, I have prepared on my mental game. So how do I run? How do I focus? Then the tactics, everything. So I get prepared early for the game. So I think it worked for me. So good.
Excellent. So now I'm going to try and bring that to these days, because these days a lot of people are under this mental stress, right? Sitting
Yeah.
in one place physically, not being able to go out, wondering what is happening. So, if you could bring some of those lessons that you had, you said you start practicing on mentally rehearsing from Monday to Saturday. What of those things that make sense now? Like, I learned this when I was a rugby player at that level, and that makes sense now. Any lessons you have that you're making use of these days mentally? Oh shit. Right. Seems like we've gotten some sort of a connection issue. Let's try to reconnect with Fazil. Dun, dun, dun. So everyone's joined us. All right. He's back. He's back.
Hello. Can you hear?
Back. I can hear you. I can't see you again.
Oh, I think just
Let's see.
can you see me?
Not yet, Fazil. Can't
Um,
see you yet. Um, don't go offline, but if you could just exit the app and enter the app again, that
okay.
should work.
Just
All right, so want to ask questions, you can do that as well. We're just waiting until Fazil comes back. Hopefully, can connect again soon. All right, all right. I think it'll work this time.
Hello.
Yes. We
Can you
can
see me?
hear you, but we can't see you.
I think the signals are not very good here because I'm.
All right, so can everybody comment? Am I the only person who can't see, or can everybody else also not see? Because anik kattira peenuwa nan kamanne, we can continue.
Am I stuck or?
Um, not stuck, but unable to think we. Okay, let's try it one more time. If you can just exit and re-enter one more time. Yeah, Gamika can't see Fazil. We want to see if you can see him. So let's try this one more time. All right, here we go. උත්සාහ කරලා බලමු මේක වැඩ කරයිද කියලා. Yes.
Can you see me?
Yes. Can see.
Okay.
Excellent. So, going back to the question, certain mind lessons you learned as a rugby player, how are you using it these days, that mental strength things?
I think just go one by one. Don't think about
Okay.
tomorrow or this thing. Just go one by one. So I have a routine now. So I have got used to a routine in the morning, gym, workout, meal, then everything for routine. So it's good. So I'm a little bit worried about after this what will happen because I'm used to now at home doing stuff at home and it'll
ඒ කියන්නේ කම්මැලි වෙලා නැහනේ.
No. I'm doing my work. So I hope not.
So what you say is that you have a routine and you're taking it one day at a time, one by one, without thinking it in a big level.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay, excellent. So guys, anybody who's watching, if you have any questions of ours, by all means put it in here and then he will respond to those as well. I want to ask you a question now. As a person who was like a captain, right, and you had other people around you, right? Now, there are times that you have to motivate them, you have to make sure that they're also on that mind game or on the top level, right? Now, to everybody else who is at home, sometimes you might see your family members who are, not feeling too great. What can you do to help the people around you to, make them feel better about this entire situation?
Yeah, I think in rugby itself, you need to speak like individually. So there are few guys, one by one, you need to take one by one and speak to them how you like because everybody is different. So you need to speak to individual and speak to them personally. Sometimes you don't get when you speak in a team environment, you don't get what you want. So if you can speak individually to players or whoever, it will help you to solve the problems and everything.
So that aspect of personalized communication is important, you think?
Yeah, that's right. The communication is really important. I think. Talking about communication, I think I deal with little kids. I have an academy, school of rugby for age from 3 to 8, really small. So talking about communication, I think first I started this school. This is the first preschool rugby preschool. This thing. So first I was nervous because the age 3 to 6 is they don't even listen. This kind of and the parents are scared. In the age of 3, they tell us to tackle and get injured and this thing. So what did I do was I communicate with the parents. This is what is happening. So normally in rugby we use hard balls. So in this I use foam balls, like it won't hurt you. So from its communication is number one for me. So I think it's made a big difference for me as talking to the parents and the kids and get them confidence, everything.
Excellent. So we all know how sports parents can be, right? They want their kids to excel. They want their kids to be the first and stuff like that, right? So we have a question from the Ceylon fitness community. He joined Sri Lanka rugby team when he was 17. Any traits that helped Fazil to get there in an age like that? Of course, one of the youngest players to play even nationally.
Yeah, it was a funny story because at that time, at 17, I was in school. I just because we used to late just like few days back, that head coach was passed away, George Simpkins. So I say so. He told me because at that time I didn't understand what he said at that time because I was in a team. I was practicing under 19. School Central Point. So and there was a match against Hong Kong at that week. So there were national team was practicing. So he asked me, "Would you like to play for the trial?" So I didn't understand at that time. So I asked the team. I thought he wants to play Central Province under 19 team versus the national team, just a trial match. I said, "Okay, coach." Uh, we can play. So he has said he asked me to come and play because his number 10 was injured. So he wanted me to come and play. So I played that game. So I scored 3 tries. So he selected me for that game in the national. So that's how I started playing for national when I was 17.
Must have been an amazing feeling for a 17-year-old to play for the national team. Amazing.
I was so nervous. I was, my it was nice.
On this topic, Imad is asking any inspiration from your dad.
No, my dad, he passed away when I was 6 years old, 6 years. So I hardly remember him. So my mother is everything. So she's the one who did everything for me. So really grateful
Excellent.
for my mom.
We have a question from a gentleman who I think is one of your biggest fans. I remember across Facebook, most of his posts, if it's rugby related, it's Fazil Marija related. So Gamika, we're going to ask you a question. Not like other players, Fazil looks quite relaxed before a game. How do you stay calm and cool always? A question from Mr. Gamika. What do you have to say to that?
Cool, like I said earlier, so I prepared from if it's a Sunday's game, I get prepared from Monday. So from Monday, Tuesday. So pre-season, I just play like a game. So when it comes to game, I have already played the game, so it's easy. So I know mental this thing, so I know exactly where to play the game plan. If you example, if I have a 22 scrum or line out or this thing, I know what to do. So it's in my head. It's automatically come in the game. So I have done so many times during the practice session. So I just come given a scoring prize, it just comes. I have prepared for it the whole week.
Excellent. So you mentioned earlier that you're wondering what will happen after this curfew is over, because now you've gotten into your routine, right?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Now, so you mentioned earlier, now you have a routine, but you're wondering what it will be like after this is over.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about, say, you mentioned you mentally practiced for a week, but say you have a match that you're kind of nervous about, like an opponent that's
Yes.
really, really challenging. So then also you're thinking, right? Podi, no one hit them, podi bayak type of thing. So how do you prepare in that situation when you're like, you're wondering, මොකක් වෙයිද, කොහොමද ඒක ගහන්නේ, that type of thing?
Hello, can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
So for pressure games, what I do is I don't think far ahead end of the game or this thing. I just think about the first bit, the kickoff, the restart. So I just think what I'm gonna do in the restart. So after 5 minutes, it goes away. So just first 5 minutes, you need to like uh, get everything together. Like I think that's why how I cope up with the pressure. Just think about the first pass, first kick, or whatever I do. The first thing that I do, I just think about it. So it is easy for me to like cope up with the stress. Let's say,
So goes back to your principle of taking it step by step instead of
yeah,
thinking about
yeah,
the entire
right.
thing.
Yes, that's right.
So we have a question from Imad who says, "What would you say to young ruggerites who keep you there as an inspiration? What's your message to them?"
Message to them is learn your skill. Nowadays, I think everybody wants to go to the gym, big bicep, big arm, like leg, but they don't work on their skills. So I think for me as a rugby player, skill is number one. If you can't pass or you can't play rugby, for me number one in the ladder is skill. So for a young work on your skills a lot, like 80% of the time. So others come gym, speed, then fitness. Others come after that. So work on your skills.
So you mentioned that you've learned gardening these days, right?
Sorry?
You mentioned that you learned gardening these days.
Oh yes.
How important do you think is for people in this lockdown time to learn something new, to try to upskill themselves? Is it a nice to do thing, or is it like good for your mental development?
I think uh, it's very good. I think this is the first time I'm done it. So my mother loves gardening, so I have I need a separate place to do the gardening for my mother. So from everything vegetables she can make it. So I have done everything with my brother. So to help with my brother, and um, I think it's help like 1.5 months we were doing this. So now it's almost done. I think for everybody to do something like that, it'll good for the environment as well. So
So, quick question: as soon as this curfew is over, what's the first thing you're looking forward to doing?
go to the gym,
Getting to
go for a
a
run.
home workout कर लेती.
Sorry.
Home workout कर लेती.
Yeah, I'm done with home workouts. These days, I'm not doing any home workouts because I'm fasting these days.
Okay.
So I'm just having a break. So I don't have energy to do home workout in
Excellent,
the
guys.
morning.
So, if you have any questions, you can ask Fazil because I think he has to go break fast in a bit. So we're going to be ending our live session soon. We'll give you some time to ask your questions. A small side note. So this session brought to you by Fitski in collaboration with Marmite. A quick note about Marmite and the vitamin B that's totally enhanced and enriched in the Marmite. That having a Marmite drink during your daily workout sessions and be enriched during the good properties that Marmite brings out. So it helps produce red blood cells, improves your cardiovascular strength, and helps to reduce fatigue and stress. A whole bunch of benefits from Marmite. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the mind game we learned about Fazil and how he likes to take it one step at a time without, trying to think about it, as one big chunk. So super happy to be here. So we're not going to take up much of your time anymore. We're going to allow you to go break fast and continue with your day. But before that, Saroj has a question in who is Fazil's role model in rugby and why? So who would your role model be?
He will be injured Bandaranaike. I'm lucky enough to play with him his last year and my first year. So one of the few guys I met never give up. Like he never give. Once I can remember one incident. we used to I used to practice with him, so he was my opponent. So first I used to side step and beat him first time. So he got angry. So next time he had the ball, he just thrashed me. I I flew like 2 meters away. So he so I like that attitude of him. So since that day, he is my role model. So I never give up attitude.
We have a question. Who is your favorite international rugby player?
Daniel Carter is my favorite.
Dan Carter fan?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so we have some get to know Fazil type questions coming in. Anything else that people need to clarify before we let the gentleman go? All right, so I guess that's about it. Fazil, thank you so very much for sharing your insights with regards to the mind game. We really appreciate the aspects. Remember, guys, you talked about communication, that's important, taking it one step at a time, that's important, and of course, having a routine, that's important. Thank you, Fazil. Amazing, amazing, amazing having a stalwart of Sri Lanka rugby with us here today. Thank you very much and have a great evening.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
All right, so quick note. So Marmite Fits coming together to provide this session for you. Marmite is enriched with vitamin B that plays a vital role in maintaining a good health and well-being for you. Also, guys, if you want to understand how Fitski works, you can go download the app. It gives you on-demand classes. Even on the lockdown, you have classes happening at home. You have yoga, you have dance fit, a whole bunch of workouts that you can use with the Fitski app. So go check it out on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. All right. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you with the next episode of The Mind Game with Fitski. See ya.